Hi guys, this is Leela. Welcome to my channel leelawebdev. In the previous video, we have learned about the container restart policy. So what are the different container restart policies that are available? We have seen it. That is nothing but 4 container restart policies parameters are there. That is never, always, on failure, maximum retries, and the last one is the unless stop. So now in this video, we will see how we can deploy the WordPress application in a Docker engine or container and how we can access that WordPress application. Let's try to see. So what is this WordPress application if you try to see? So it is a content management system. So it is developed using PHP language. So it is a content management system. So content management system means the name itself indicates about the managing the content. So for example, let's say that if you are having a business, let's say you are having a business or you have started a business or anything, it may be a small or medium size business application. Now you want to develop a website for that one. So what you need to do, so just you will be having a simple, what I can say is simple pages like home, about us, contact and feedback or something, contact us like that. So let's say you will be having a 4 or 5 pages in that one. So that is a website page. Now, in order to design the web page, you doesn't know anything about this web development or anything. So, so what you will try to do, first of all, you will contact the UI developer or the front-end development team, and you will try to design the pages, and you will try to deploy the website. So this is how we will be doing it. Instead of contacting a front-end developer and all those things, so just using the WordPress. So you by selecting the templates, you will be having a series of templates, either it may be a paid version or a free version. So you'll be having a WordPress templates. You can select the template and you can make the website up. So that means there is no need to have a programming knowledge in order to make the website. So using the WordPress, we can develop the website without having any programming knowledge. So that is one thing. So almost 25% of the websites currently running in the internet are of developed using the WordPress technology only. So there are other alternatives with the WordPress also, like Joomla, Drupal. So many CMS management is there. So WordPress and these all things are under PHP, and other programming languages also maybe we will be having CMS sites. So these are very famous CMS concept. So now that is all about the WordPress application. So now how we can launch this WordPress application, let's try to see. So in order to launch this WordPress application, so what are the requirements we need to have? Let's try to understand it. So here I am taking something like an presentation so that I will show you how we can, before implementing the, creating the containers for the WordPress and all those things, just I will try to explain you theoretically. So what are the steps we will be trying to do in order to create the WordPress application. So let's try to see. So let's say that I am having a red color I am taking, here. Let's say that, let's try to, so let's keep it like this only. So here I will be having a very big box, that is nothing but, let's assume this is a Docker host machine. So this one is a Docker host machine. So what is this Docker host machine? So what I will be trying to tell you is Docker host machine is nothing but our Ubuntu server or the virtual machine which we will be trying to do. So which we will be trying to install. So right now in this one, so ours is Ubuntu server. So this is our Docker host machine. Let's have application. And this Docker host machine so is connected to a network that is nothing but ENPS03 or OS3 or something like that you will be having. And this is connected to a network something like 192.168.0.12 or 13. So something like that. So mine, in my case, that is 192.168.0.13. In your case, maybe different, 1.40 or something, 1.30 or something like that you will be having. So depending on your configuration you will be having. So that is the network you will be having. And now, so in this Docker host machine, so we will be installing the Docker, right? So so whenever you install the Docker host machine, so you know that a Docker interface will be created with the name Docker 0. So Docker 0. So a Docker interface will be connected and it will be having a IP address that is nothing but 172.17.0.1/16. So these are all private address. And Docker 0 on one end is connected to the Ethernet, that is nothing but ENPS0, that is nothing but 192.this one. And here the Docker 0 is responsible for creating the for assigning the IP address to the containers. Now I will be creating the application that is nothing but WordPress application. So here the container is WordPress. Okay. So in order to install the WordPress or thing, so we need to have two things. So WordPress, for installing the WordPress, so it requires a database. So why? Because it needs to store the content. So where it will store the content is by default you will be using the MySQL database. So MySQL database, it will be storing the content. So that means we need to have a MySQL container also. So we will be having two containers, that is MySQL. So now you need to understand that which one I need to install first, which one I need to create a container first. So here you need to create MySQL container first. Why? Because so WordPress needs the MySQL. So that means when you are trying to create a WordPress container, so it needs the MySQL container to be established, so or otherwise to be present. So that means first we need to create the container MySQL, then only we can connect to then only we can create the WordPress. So that means MySQL container will be created first. So then for this one, Docker host machine will give an IP address that is nothing but 172.17.0.2. So this is the IP address which will be created, and by default you know that MySQL database will be listening to the port number 3306. Okay, and afterwards, after creating the container MySQL, then we will be creating the container WordPress, and WordPress by default the Docker 0 will give the IP address 172.117.0.3. So this is the IP address for the container, and by default this WordPress will be listening to the port 80. Why? Because in this WordPress you will be having the web server that is nothing but Apache. So Apache by default will be listening to the port 80. So that is the reason. Now the WordPress, so this one you will be having, this is the IP address you will be having, and this is the IP address you are having, and this one will be listening to the 80 and 3306. Now you need to understand that this is all in the Docker host machine only. So these are all private address which is available in the Docker host machine, and these addresses we cannot access it outside the Docker host machine. Within the Docker host machine, you can access the WordPress MySQL and you can do it whatever you want. But outside the Docker host machine, you cannot access it. Why? Because these are private address which is applicable only in this Docker host machine. So what we will try to do, so we already learned about the concept, that is nothing but we will be using the port forwarding. So which container, so you need to understand that which container I want to make it visibly public. So we know that WordPress, so WordPress is the thing which you need to make it. So then what I will try to do it is, I will try to do the port forwarding with the port number of 8090. Okay. So that means whenever the user tries to use this one 192.168.0.13:8090, then automatically it will be port forwarded to this container. So this is how we will be doing the port container. And here in between this one internally, so this can communicate with each other. So there is no need to do the port forwarding and all those things. Internally this can communicate with each other. If you want, you can also do this port forwarding. I will not do the port forwarding. Why? Because there is no need for me to use this MySQL outside. So MySQL will be used internally with the WordPress. So here it can communicate with each other. So this is the whole total concept which we will be trying to do it. So we will be installing the WordPress and the MySQL, and we will try to install it. So hope you understood about this installation process. So in the next video, we will see how we can practically implement this WordPress application development by using the Docker engine containers. So if you have any doubts or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.